he tore his ACL. He said, man, we got a little ways to go. Like I said earlier, just listen to the trainers. I've been begging to get the cleats, but they wouldn't let me until we got out here. We got a little time, but I know week 1 is not in the drawing. So, of the Cowboys' top 4 leading wide receivers from last season, 3 of them will not play for Dallas in week 1 in a really important game. Amari Cooper and Cedric Wilson Jr. both departed Dallas this offseason. As you heard, Michael Gallup not ready for week 1. Free agent signing James Washington and third-round draft pick Jalen Tolbert will attempt to fill that void. Of course, you do expect CeeDee Lamb to be helpful, but Phil, tons of turnover on this offense. The O-line is also a big piece of that. What is a realistic timeline for Gallup's return?
January 3rd, torn ACL. Typical timeline for ACLs is somewhere between 9 and 12 months, although medicine has advanced so much that we're seeing guys closer to that 9-month range. So my suspicion is that Michael Gallup will not be ready for week 1, as he has stated, but it may not be a surprise if he's out there at some point during the month of September. But when you sign a guy to a 5-year, $57.5 million deal like Dallas did, you're not worried about just the first couple of weeks. You're worried about those next 5 years. They'll be cautious.
Yeah, so you see the schedule right here. We're circling that week 1 against the Bucs on Sunday Night Football, which is huge swagoo. But you look at those first few games, Bucs, Bengals, at Giants, Washington, at Rams, then at Philly. A good start feels like it's important, and you're doing it without a top wide receiver, at least for some of that time with Gallup being out.
Y'all putting me in a bad situation right now.
Well, we're just trying to put the pressure on you here.
Listen, you're going to have somebody step up, and obviously that's what Gallup's job is to do when he gets back. He's a big physical receiver. It's going to have to be James Washington, and we've seen him have some success. I keep getting reports out of camp that he's doing well. Him and Dak is still trying to build a little bit of a rapport, but I think about this Dallas team from a skill position standpoint. I have enough confidence in Dak Prescott that these receivers will be elevated by the way that he played. I still believe in that ability for him to elevate the guys around him. But ultimately, babyface, we know what this is going to boil down to. It's going to boil down to the line of scrimmage. It's going to boil down to the ability to be multiple offensively. And for Dak Prescott, building synergy with wide receivers have never been a problem in his career. It's just about if these guys are good enough for this gauntlet you just listed off to kind of match toe-to-toe. Think about last year, first game of the season. It was about the Cowboys' offense.
Yeah.
That's what it was about, going toe-to-toe with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You get off to a slow start in this one, you might be 0-4. Yikes.
Yeah, D-Wood, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Marcus kind of touched on it for me. I think Dak Prescott would be able to help elevate the skill position guys, but I got a question about the offensive line.
Yeah,
they're not getting that much. They're not getting any younger on the offensive line. Some of those guys are getting long in the tooth. They've been very good players for a long time. I got questions. Can they be one of the elite units in the National Football League? We've seen Zeke declining over the past couple of years. Can we see any glimpses of Zeke of old? So those two components are part of the identity and the fabric of the Dallas Cowboys, particularly on offense. Can they resurrect themselves in order to make this Dallas Cowboys offense one of the top units in the National Football League? That's a question that remains to be seen.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.